Hi, my name is AverageGirlGames. I'm a variety streamer and I stream Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. My channel is a low-pressure environment where you can come, make friends, just as if you were back in a 90s arcade.
Welcome. Thanks so much for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm excited. Okay, so go ahead and tell me about yourself.
Okay, so I've been a gamer majority of my life. I started out with a Pocket Game Boy and then kind of moved my way up to Nintendo 64, a GameCube, Xbox, and now I stream on a PC, which is great. I've never had one of those, and it's definitely a different experience. But I started actually streaming because a couple of my friends were all talking about, we already play video games. Let's just go live and see what happens. And so I started on Twitch, and it's been an absolutely amazing ride. I've currently been around 2,000 followers. I just reached my goal, which is absolutely amazing. And I average about 25 to 30, which I feel like for me is insanely cool. And I just have this wonderful community that lets me be whoever I want to be. I can be a sim that I get to build a house from the ground up. I could be Dante in the Rings of Hell. I can be a Pokemon master. I can really be whoever I want to be. And that kind of goes back to where I wanted to be an actress when I was younger, and unfortunately the stars were not aligned for me to do that. So I've really been able to channel any kind of creativity from that into streaming, and it's just been amazing.
Yes, oh my gosh, what a cool bring up, I guess, with that. So let's talk about burnout. That's what we're here. Have you experienced it before? Has it been multiple situations or one kind of slow burn?
I think it kind of came when I was starting to think, I really want to take streaming seriously or more serious. And I started thinking, okay, well, I need to diversify my content. And a lot of people say that, and I didn't know what it meant. And so I kind of did a little more research, and I was like, okay, so that means I have to post on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, and I need to have a Twitter presence, and I need to do this, and this. And I was like, I'm overwhelmed. So I have a full-time job. I'm actually an audiologist. I'm a doctor. And so that takes up a majority of my time. And then adding on to, okay, post a YouTube video, make a YouTube video, make a TikTok, make an Instagram post. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. And it just started to weigh on me and make me feel like a failure because I didn't know what to post. I didn't know how to post. I have a great team that supports me, people who make videos for me or YouTube videos, but how do you get around the time to do all of that? It's so much. And it really just made me feel like I'm not good enough, or I'm not going to ever be seen in the way that I want to because I couldn't diversify my content.
Yeah. And was that the hardest part of content creation, was just all the social media aspects?
Honestly, yeah. I feel like creativity-wise, I felt like I was pretty good. Although, I'll talk about in a minute how I kind of ran out of ideas too quickly. But it's overwhelming to post, let's say, a YouTube short, I think is what they're called. And I get 2,000 views on it. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing. This is awesome. Like, I'm doing something. And then I post it on TikTok or Instagram, and it gets 3.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And no one can really explain the algorithm of whatever platform you're on. So I was like, and I just didn't see the fruit of my labors. And so it just caused me to be like, well, I can't do it then.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people that way too.
It's hard when you spend hours on this 30-second video or something, you post it and it gets 4 views and you're like,
yes.
Okay. It's hard to keep up doing 4 hours of work for it.
Yeah, especially when, and I'm sure other content creators too also have full-time jobs. So we're trying to do this full-time gig, trying to be a part-time streamer, but then it's almost like part-time again is social media and me having a social media presence.
Right.
So it's a lot.
Yeah. So in hindsight now, it's been a few years since you've been streaming, what would you have changed differently in order to not feel so overwhelmed?
I think I would just be myself. And that sounds kind of weird, but I feel like I wanted to be so original and so different and so first ever seen on Twitch or on TikTok or on YouTube that I lost me. And I felt like if I had to follow trends, I didn't want to follow the trend because then that's not original. And so it was this never ending spiral of be original, but then you have to have the trend to be able to be discovered. And it's going back to, and then I just felt like it just wasn't me. I couldn't just post to post.
Yeah, no, totally. That's an interesting way of saying it. It's like, it's always saying it's like, be revolutionary, but it's like, oh, well, how do you even get discovered? Because it's so revolutionary, people don't want to watch it.
Yeah. Or they're like, oh, like the algorithm can't pick this up because I didn't use the trending sound or do the trending dance or post at the right times. And I think that honestly, if I could just go back to like cute little me and be like, hey, just post. Who cares? If it picks it up, it picks it up. But if not, that's your content. You made that. Be proud of it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for other streamers that are currently facing burnout or about to experience it?
Yeah. So definitely understand like streaming is a marathon. And I think someone said this recently and I really kind of attached to it because we always think of like sprinting and getting somewhere as fast as we can. But in streaming, it really is a marathon. So take water breaks and stretch, which just means like, don't forget to take days off if you need it, if you're not in the headspace for streaming. And like also prep for stream. Like stretching means that you have to like get your water, get everything ready, get your game set up, make sure that your OBS is working because it's detrimental when you like pop everything up and you're so excited and then suddenly you're muted and your audio sources aren't working and you're like, and it just like brings it down and it makes you feel just like worse because you're like, I didn't provide the content that I wanted to. Which I feel like if you just, again, and I'm bad at this too, if I just prep 5 minutes before I turn on my OBS, make sure my lights are working, everything, then I'm like, okay, I feel good. I also would like really advise if unfortunate things happen, and unfortunate things happen will happen on Twitch. If you get like a nasty chatter that comes in and is like, you're not cute, and you're like, that's so mean. Or if you have like a bad game and someone comes in, or, you get like a bot raid, which has been going around Twitch a little bit more, really have a group of friends that you trust and that's your core group of friends to be like, I'm really sad about this, and have them lift you up and be like, man, but you're better than that. And you handled that super well, and make you kind of build you back up after something like that happens. And also just be yourself, be who you are. There is no one like you. You are the only person like you in the world, and utilize that, and just also celebrate small wins. If you posted one picture a week, win. If you rated into a really cool person, win. If you played community games in Discord instead of streaming because you just weren't in that space to stream, that's a win. Just celebrate your wins no matter what they are.
Yes, no, I love that. It's the small wins that you have to realize because you can so focus on like, oh, I didn't stream, even though you did play games with community members. It's like you focus on the negative instead of all the positives.
Yeah.
So how did you or did you not kind of manage your personal life, your work life, your partner, your like everything together versus streaming?
Yeah, no, I definitely had, I have like a big plate, but I think that communication is so important. And it's communicating, like, for example, if I come home from work and I've just had a day, I'll usually just message my community and say, hey guys, I'm so sorry. Work was awful. I'm not feeling it. Let's pick this back up tomorrow. And I've always had good feedback of being like, oh, thank you for telling us. Like, we just didn't know if you just don't go live. We just don't know what happened to you. Or if I'm like, hey, Miles is my partner, and I say, Miles, I have no energy to make dinner or pick up anything or start my PC. Can you just grab some things for me? And he will totally set everything up for me. And at my mod crew as well, if I say, hey mods, I'm really sensitive today. So if like anyone comes in and is having any kind of negativity, can we just politely ask to be like a little more positive or turn this around? Because maybe I'm feeling like a little warm that day and I just need some extra support.
I love that advice of being so aware of your feelings beforehand and then communicating it to the people around you, being like, hey, like, I'm about to cry. Don't let anyone make it happen.
Yes, exactly. You're like, I will not cry on stream. So I just need you to be that wall real quick. Thanks.
Yeah, seriously. How would you give advice to other people on how to manage their own personal life and streaming and work and partner?
It's different for everybody, but a big one that helped me was time management. So my stream is 2 hours, and I really cut it hard at 2 hours because I don't want to feel like, okay, well, I just streamed for 4 hours and now I have a 2-hour video to make, and now I have to make sure that I go live on TikTok for this time, and it gets overwhelming if you don't have that time management. And so I limited my stream time, and I said, okay, 2 hours for stream, done. And then I send 2 hours on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, any kind of other social media stuff that I want to create. And then as soon as that 2 hours is up, even if I'm not finished with the project, I leave my computer. And I go and do something else, whether it's watching TV or I take a bath, anything that kind of just calms me back down. I touch grass every once in a while. So, stuff like that. That really just, I know. It's weird out there. There's allergies, I'm telling you. But it really helped me just say, this is my time. And then outside of that is not my time for streaming. And so it just kind of put that nice, work is work, home is home, and it lets me do other things without feeling guilty.
Yes, I love the timer and then setting it and being like, I'm not done, but I'm just gonna stop. I love that. It's a really good advice. So physical and mental health is super important when it comes to streaming. How do you keep up with both of those?
Yeah, weirdly enough, I swim. So I've been a swimmer forever. And I don't know what it is about water, but just getting in where you're underwater and everything is basically silent. And you can just let your brain kind of just shut off. And you just have this movement, which is that physical aspect, right? And then you have that silence, which is kind of the mental aspect. And it just gives me kind of this refresh to be like, okay, I feel really good. I can turn my brain off. And it's just really such a sensational thing. And then I also believe in naps. Because why not take a nap? I don't know who said that adults don't take naps anymore. I nap at least once a week just to be like, you know what? My body needs rest. My brain needs rest. I'm just going to take a nap.
No, I love that. Yes. I said I could never nap, but I feel like it's because of everything else. My brain was so loud that I couldn't nap. And then once I started actually meditating and focusing on quieting my brain, now I can nap, which is the wildest thing. And put my phone away, and really just okay. So I agree with that. But I think it takes a while to even get to that point.
Yeah, it definitely does, especially with, again, and I'm also not the best at it before I go to bed, but I'll scroll social media before I go to bed. I want to see what everyone's up to. And really sometimes I'm I get trapped in a spiral of something and I'm oop, now it's 11 o'clock. Whoopsies.
11 p.m. is such a good time to say oopsie. My oopsie is 1 a.m.
You're ooh, that was a big whoopsie.
Literally. All right. So my last question is, do you have any other tips or advice for streamers experiencing burnout?
Yeah, you know what? I think the one thing just to keep reminding yourself is that you are doing better than you think you are. You just going live, period, is an accomplishment. Pushing that go live button is so scary because sometimes you're well, what if no one shows up? Or what if, the gameplay I have isn't good? Or what if someone comes in and is mean? And to be able to embrace that and say, you know what, I'm going live anyway, is amazing. And again, a win, right? So just know that you are always doing better than you think you are.
I love that. All right. Well, perfect. That's it from me. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay. We're going to say goodbye to YouTube and then I'll say goodbye to you afterwards. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you. Bye, YouTube. I want to say bye, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.